So today's video is gonna be slightly different than usual because we have everything set up for a nice route here departing from Geneva. We have the Lake of Geneva behind us there, and we have a engine 1 failure set up in the FMC. I am not a real life pilot, so this is my first ever attempt to fly with the engine failure, let's say. And we have the engine failure at the V rotate call, which means that we cannot abort the takeoff. I didn't dive too deep into the procedures. Actually, the only thing I have here is a spreadsheet from a one engine out operation with the corresponding flaps and speeds and whatsoever. Luckily we have the center tanks empty here, so we're running only on the wing tanks. We got the full route set up, everything set up, so yeah, basically set up like usual. That means I have the flight path vector on, and you will see, I think we will see here why that becomes useful after departure straight away. So without further ado, let's release the parking brakes here. I have no idea how this is gonna go. So yeah, I know that number 1 will stop. That should happen because it's set up and active. So we'll go like usual, get engines up to 40, stable engines. Let them drop. I will go for takeoff thrust here. Alright. Now let's see how this is gonna go.
Airspeed's alive.
Airspeed is live, alright.
80 knots.
80 knots. Alright, now I already start to become a little bit stressful, even knowing what's coming up here. Let's see how that's gonna go here. Got the rotate call coming up.
V1. Rotate.
Rotate. Okay, and here we got an engine failure, so we have to be gently towards that 12 degrees pitch.
Positive rate of climb.
Okay, gear up straight away because we need as less drag as possible. We're drifting a lot here, as you can see. Okay, we gotta keep an eye on that pitch here. Alright, and since we don't have an co-pilot here, we have to do things ourselves here. So I'm gonna disable LNAV here to not get any no, LNAV we're gonna keep here. Yeah, we're gonna keep climbing out using this about 12 degrees pitch, which is giving us a nice vertical speed here while maintaining airspeed and gaining a little bit. Notice the flight path vector, how low it is. We're gonna keep around that 10 degrees here. Alright, normally of course you would try an engine restart, but I know it would not work, so we're not going to do anything regarding that. The plane is pulling to one side, so let's see if we can fix that a little bit here. There we go, that's a little bit better. Alright. So we're climbing out. Let's keep gaining altitude. We're gonna aviate, navigate, communicate. So communication we're not gonna do here anyway. We got the airport behind us, Geneva. So we're gonna keep climbing out here. Flaps 5, level 5. Yeah, engine failure. So we're gonna keep proceeding with this about, they say 12 to 13 degrees of pitch, 90% on the engines. It's gonna be one engine. I think to keep, yeah, preserve some engine power, you want to be around this 90, I guess. We're gonna keep that like so, and we're gonna try to stay around this 12, 13 here. So this is looking okay. Next up, we got Geneva behind us. Let's say we want to go back to Geneva. So LSGG it is. We're gonna keep hand flying here. We came from runway 22, so that means 4 will be the opposite one for arrival. So we're gonna dial in 43. We want to get this localizer up and running together with the glide slope. We'll keep climbing here because of the terrain, and we need some time to descend and set up for our approach as well. So 043 and 110.900. 110.900. Gonna switch them to active straight away, since now I'm looking down already here. 110.900, 110.900. Yeah, so these are inactive already. Nothing will happen until we'll switch on the VOR lock anyway. Outer brakes we're gonna set to max already since we're here. And then we're gonna keep climbing out to Let's go with a with about a 5,000 feet. Then we'll try to go level flight here. That means that we can go flaps up, and we have to maintain a 5-degree pitch while having 70% engine power. Should keep us about 210 knots here. We'll start banking here slowly to the right. This is still from the runway, so we want to catch up on that runway later on. 43 on the course, so we're going to head 043 on the heading here. Oh, that's a little bit too much. 43 like so. LNAV can come off. We don't need this guidance from LNAV for now. Alright, and we're climbing fine here, just gently. Keeping an eye on the terrain nearby. So we're not running into any steep terrain while we cannot climb out much more. Gonna check here on the right side a little bit how it's looking. And that's looking okay as long as we catch the runway about there. Or not the runway, but let's say the center line of the runway. I want to have enough time here to set up for a nice and stable approach. I don't know how the plane is reacting now. With one engine failure out. We're still going slightly to the right here. I tried to adjust rather quickly down there on the over here, but I don't know how well it's now adjusted for the engine failure on one side, so to say. So 4,600 coming up here. I'm fine with this, so we'll start turning to the flaps away, or we'll go flaps away, because we're gonna go level flight here. So we want to be around 5 degrees of pitch. So we're gonna go down to 5 degrees. Engine power back to 70. We're gonna keep the engine power for now around 90. I want to gain a little bit more of airspeed here. So notice we're around that 5 degrees. And the flight path vector is more or less indicating that we're level flight. Or level flight not, but staying on altitude, so to say. Turning nicely here. It looks like it's gonna work out here with the runway coming up. Gonna switch on the VOR lock already. I know it's soon, but I want to have that set up before we're getting closer to the runway. And then we have to go flaps 10 gear down, flaps 15 maximum, and that means that we'll have a relatively fast landing coming up here. So airspeed is still relatively low, so I'm gonna keep this 90% here for now still. I'm gonna keep an eye here on the indication of the turn, that I'm lining up here more or less correctly. The faster we turn, the more airspeed we'll lose as well. So like I said, it's a very first engine failure takeoff here. Of course I did some thinking in advance what I would do, like going for this runway again here and stuff like that, and looking up a one engine operation chart with the correct procedure. So we're still gaining airspeed here, so we'll come back to this on the engine power. We can go a little bit more easy on our turn here. So yeah, level flight, we're at 80, we can come down even a bit more here on the power. Alright, looking fine like so. Gonna come down here on the range on the ND. Alright, we want to maintain that 5,000 now for sure. Still have some mountain here to cover, to fly over, let's say. So we want to keep that. We're gonna stay on this 5,000 here. Obviously I took the 22 for departure with some nice mountains here, instead of going over the lake all and easy. Alright, there's the glide slope, but we're going to capture the localizer before. So we're going to keep around this 5,000, coming back on the engines a bit more even. got the VR lock on. Coming back to 70% like in the one engine failure operation chart here. There's the localizer coming up, so we're going to go towards this flight director here, and we're going to switch on approach mode. Approach we have, of course, straight away. So we're going to follow the flight directors now. That means we have to go descent flaps 1, flaps 5, flaps 5 170. And then on a 3-degree glide slope, flaps 15 we gear it down. So, oh, keep paying attention here. Hello. Okay. Trying to get lined up here with the runway. Keeping an eye on the flight path vector regarding our drift. And we have to come down already here. So we're gonna go engine, descent engine, idle. So we'll go with that for now. Alright, I'm reading a one engine out operation chart while hand flying here all the time towards our runway. Our horizontal flight director for some reason is saying that we have to go. Alright. Yeah, we got everything captured. Okay, coming more to the right here. We'll go to flaps 5 and flaps 10. Here we need about 55 up to 60% of engine thrust power. So we're gonna bring that up a little bit here. And we want to come down more on the glide slope. Flight director compared to the glide slope is looking rather strange here. I don't know what that's the reason here. Because we have to clearly come down a lot more. Right gear down. Waiting for the 3 green on the gear. There's the puppy lights. So I'm gonna go visual here now more or less. While keeping an eye on the flight path vector. Giving us a good indication where we're going more or less. Or not more or less, the flight path vector is really accurate. Alright, speed. Coming up here, we got 3 green, so we're gonna go flaps 15. Now we gotta keep an eye on the speed and the drift. Go around is flaps 1, gear up, and 12 to 13 degrees pitch. So flaps 1, 12 degrees pitch up. So this is really strange
1000
behavior. Approaching with one engine and a flight stick with rudder combination. It's going fine, but it's quite a difference I can feel. It's good that we adjusted the rudder already. I was pulling so much to one side. I'm expecting
500
after touchdown, when we go to reverse thrust, we have to keep an eye on the rudder as well. Airspeed a little bit low, gonna spool up a little bit here.
300
Alright, we got 3 wide, there we go.
glide slope
Alright.
sync rate 50 30 20 10
Alright, there we go. Touchdown, front, reverse. Reverse is green. Yep, and it's pulling a little bit to one side, but not too bad. Okay, that was quite interesting to say at least. Something completely new for me. So yeah, single engine failure. Without any experience and any in-depth videos beforehand, so just a engine failure and a flowchart of one engine out operation, and that's all the reference I used here. The engine failure you can set up relatively easy. Go into menu, Pmdg setup, aircraft, failures, and then I went over to engine failure. As you can see, it's red here, programmed, and a engine 1 VR cut I selected, and now it's even there indicated as severe damage. I guess you have to switch it off, cut the fuel, bring the lever to idle, cut off the fuel and stuff like that. But I was rather busy flying the plane, so I guess the co-pilot will do these kind of operations. A rudder adjustment we did make here a little bit. I tried at least. There's not much to see here, but I have the feeling that we had some doesn't look like any difference. But anyway, I had the feeling that changing that one there made a difference on the yeah, pulling of the engine to one side, so to say. So yeah, really quick video here just of a single engine failure takeoff. Yeah, it's well known, at least to some people. At least for me, it was well known that a single engine failure, it's fine after VR that you can climb out. So yeah, flaps 5 and a pitch to 12-13 degrees, and you can manage fine like this. I decided to go for the same runway, opposite direction, ILS approach, set it up, flew the full approach, and go from there on. So yeah, something different than usual. I think that's it. Next up gonna be our landing gear failure, but you cannot set up the landing gear, so we have to see how we can trigger a failure for that, and how we can do something with the landing gear if there's something we can do with it failure wise. So that's the first failure on the channel here, flying the Pmdg 737, good practice. So that's it, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.